How is it you go about handling an argument with your woman? She's done something to piss you off. You're super angry about it. You want to blow up in her face and tell her that she's an idiot and she's made this mistake again, but she's never going to understand it that way. How do you deliver your message? How do you confront your woman to stop her from continually stepping over your boundaries? Now, the key as a man is firstly to be setting these boundaries at some point within your relationship. Ultimately, the beginning is the best time to be setting boundaries. So, how do you go about expressing your anger and emotion? People are going to piss you off, especially your woman. Your woman is going to piss you off many, many times during a relationship. How you deal with it is how you maintain your frame, how your relationship continues, and how good your relationship is, and how long it actually lasts, is almost heavily reliant on how you deal with the problems and the conflicts. I had a terrible situation that I had to learn from many years ago, and I'm still learning as I had anger management issues growing up. I was a bit of a rough kid, high levels of testosterone, never took shit from anyone, and was always swinging at kids at school. I was a bad kid, and I always got in a lot of trouble, actually, and I'm not proud of that whatsoever. That level of aggression is completely unnecessary. And it all came out once when one of my ex-girlfriends had annoyed me with a particular social media post. Now, she was absolutely stunning, and she decided that she enjoyed showing her body off on social media, and one of her Instagram stories was basically her in the bath, showing her legs off, and she was about 1 inch away from her private parts. And I was like, how provocative is this? And I blew up. I literally lost the plot. And during a phone call with her, I was like, I can't believe you post something like this. This is extremely slutty behavior. You obviously look for all this kind of attention. You're a massive attention seeker when you've got a boyfriend. You're obviously the wrong girl to be with. Bye, you're dumped. That went on to hurt me for a long time, because I then realized a few days later I had blown up, I had lost my cool, and I had lost her in a way by not being able to communicate clearly where my boundaries lie and that I didn't like something. How is she going to know that that picture is going to be something that I'm going to blow up about personally? To her, her boundaries are different to my boundaries, and you'll have similar situations with your relationships. So ultimately, after the pain and suffering that I went through, dumping her and then her walking away from me forever, and I attempted to get her back at a later stage, and it didn't really work. Now, I knew that she wasn't for me in the long run, but I still attempted to get her back, and it didn't work very well because of how much I had blown up on her and scared her away with that anger. So the next time you're feeling extremely angry about something and your girl has really pissed you off, there are a couple of things you can say and do in that situation. When your girl has pissed you off, the best thing to do is not confront her there and then when you are angry. You ought to say something like, babe, I need to calm down. I'm going to go for a walk. Let's talk about this a little bit later on. That is the most powerful thing you could say, without getting angry, without shouting. If you can pull off that kind of line in a moment of anger where you count to 10 in your head, and I've had to employ these anger management techniques so as to not blow up to the people that I love, and I have done over the past few years, and it is destructive towards your relationships. So if you can literally count to 10 when you are extremely angry and she's massively pissed you off, it could be in a bar, she could be literally flirting or talking to someone, and you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got to count it out, and you have to kind of step away from the situation. Do not confront it head on there and then, because in anger, you will always get the wrong results. You can imagine if you went up to her, you're like, babe, what the hell are you doing? Why are you talking to this guy? You lose completely. What would James Bond do in that scenario? James Bond would observe the situation, count to 10 in his mind, and then when she came over, he would calmly and collectively discuss the situation with her and be like, did you think that was appropriate to be flirting with someone at the bar like that? Now, as you can see, you still should confront her, but the way you confront her needs to be calm and collected. And while you're confronting her, you need to be making sure that you're setting your boundaries and letting her know that you think that is unacceptable. So therefore, when you're having that conversation and when you have cooled down and after you have left the room, gone for a walk and come back, you could say, babe, I want to have a conversation with you. I don't appreciate the way that you were standing at that bar flirting and talking to that guy for just a little bit too long. That goes against my values as a man. You are my woman after all. Now, you're allowed to talk to someone, obviously, but your body language and your actions, that wasn't cool with me, and I don't like that kind of behavior. If that continues, you'll see me walk away and never turn back. That is exactly how you deal with a confrontation with your woman. That is exactly how you deal with when you are angry with your woman. Remember those tools and techniques, and I guarantee you, she will respect you when you've set those boundaries clearly, assertively, and in a stern, masculine manner.